Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer is at Henry Pork in Clay County, talking with Roy Henry about their new state-of-the-art Loose Sow housing, an investment the Henry family believes in for the welfare of their animals. Next up is today's Kansas Farm Bureau update. Then Kyle continues his tour at Henry Pork and talks with Marc Henry. Marc talks about how the family operation has adapted over the years and takes a look inside their new state-of-the-art facility that allows sows to move freely in groups within a temperature-controlled environment. Next, Dr. Dan Loy from Iowa State University reveals new research results showing which breeding traits show a positive relationship with carcass marbling. To wrap up, it's Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. It's all coming up on Farm Factor. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on three main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Today, Kyle is at Henry Pork's open house and talks with Roy Henry about their new state-of-the-art sow barn.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I get a chance to visit with Roy Henry, a longtime friend of mine, on their open house day on a brand new hog facility in southern Clay County. I have been around hogs all my life, Roy, but I have not been in a new modern facility in a very, very long time, and I really took the opportunity to come and see this. Okay, I'm not going to tell your age, but you're older than I am. Why would someone your age want to make this kind of investment for this many years?
Well, you know, those are all difficult decisions. But when we look to the future and what's the consumer going to demand for the products and how they want their food produced and the changes we need to do in the production systems that we have, this seemed to be the most logical thing to do to separate our sows from our existing facility and maybe try to grow the south side of it and go to loose sow housing as a possible benefit in the market.
So you have another generation coming behind, but you were a second generation as well when you came home from college and raised hogs.
Yeah, that's correct. My parents were in the pig business when I got here. And when I think about how this all evolves, it really took their generation to get this business started. You know, they had to set the base structure for us. And so then I had a brother and two sisters that were partners in the business then. And since that time, you know, Linda and I have become the owners, and now we're working with our children, getting them ownership in the business too. And Kate and Mark will be the ones that have the the majority of the interest in this.
So the hog operation, the technology has changed a great deal, and I'll say improved a great deal, but the animals you raise have changed a lot too.
Well, thinking back when I started, you know, the market weight pig was 220 pounds, and they didn't grow very fast, but of course they were raised outside on dirt, which, you know, usually slows them down a bit. And now today the optimum market weight is around 300 pounds, and they're going to get there in about 6 months or less. So technology has changed, genetics have changed a lot, Numbers of pigs per sow per year, we started out at 14 or 15, and now we should be up around 30 pigs per sow per year. So that's like doubling in production.
I was involved in that generation of hogs on dirt as well, and it was very frustrating sometimes giving individual care for those animals. And today it's very hot outside, but in here it's very, very comfortable. You can really give a lot of hogs individual care.
Well, and that's really what you have to do. You know, if the animal's well taken care of and has the correct nutrition and genetics, they will perform very well for you. And so therefore we try to create that environment that is good for them. You know, we look at all the fans in this building and I'm going, wow, that's a lot of power it's using. But that's the value that's worth the value just to keep the animals cool and basically producing pigs.
Truly, we understand the nutrition of a hog really well. And of course, you raise them all the way from the first day they were born until they've been in the sow herd for several years. But it takes a lot of different nutrition to do that.
Well, that's one of the things that this facility has changed, which I really didn't realize was possible. But normally we would have 5 rations for pigs from after we wean them. But in this one, we have where we blend 2 different rations. And so we make the ration for the pig of different sizes out of the 2. And so it's an interesting concept. I'm interested to see how it works, but it really makes it's a lot simpler on the feed side of it.
We'll be visiting with Marc and Kate Henry, and this is Roy, as in Roy and Linda Henry, and Henry Hogs, Henry LTD, Henry Pork in southern Clay County. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. After the break, it's this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
These days, no one can afford to take the risk of being without financial protection against high health care costs, not even for a few days. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans offer short-term health care coverage to fill in those temporary gaps. Short-term health plans can provide you with medical coverage when you are between health plans, helping lower your potential financial risk. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau financial services agent near you.
Join Ag AM in Kansas, everyone, Monday through Friday mornings on local stations throughout the state of Kansas, and every day on your favorite social media. Monday kicks off with Dr. Dan Thompson on Doc Talk, as he's joined by leading veterinarians and nutritionists in food animal production. They discuss current production challenges and tips on how to deal and prepare for those challenges. Tuesdays on Farm Factor, it is our friends here at KFRM Radio with interviews from top experts in agriculture. Wednesday, it is a little of Kansas history with Deb Goodrich on Around Kansas. Thursday, Britton Rucker brings us Ag Etc. This day is filled with agricultural research and ag happenings around the Midwest, including our new Young Leaders in Ag segment. We end the week with Authentic Ag and updates from your local checkoff programs. Make sure to check your local listings or like us on Facebook and Twitter at Ag AM in Kansas and on YouTube at Farming Unlimited TV, so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
My name is Jackie Munt, and I represent the 7th District on the Vote FBF board. I'm really proud to be a part of the Vote FBF organization now because I previously served on a task force that kind of asked the question of, is our process still relevant, and are we getting the right people elected? And in that, we heard the people, and I know I had the same experience at my county, that people want to be involved, but sometimes they don't feel like they have the resources. And so I feel like the KFB staff and Vote FBF has worked really hard to make sure that information about candidates is available, that information about why the Vote FBF organization and what we do is important is out there to our members. And so we're working really hard to engage with counties and to make sure that that grassroots process is working the way that it's supposed to be. And so if someone has any questions or wants to know more about what Vote FBF is doing, the candidates that are out there, there's some great resources available at www.kfb.org/VoteFBF.
When we come back, Kyle is back at Henry Pork and talks with Marc Henry about how his parents' hog operation has adapted over the years.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer and work with you.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop. Liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle is with Marc Henry of Henry Pork in their new state-of-the-art sow facility.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I get a chance to visit with Marc Henry. We have been on their hog operation, and I actually, Marc, have been on your hog operation a number of times over the years, but normally hauling corn, selling corn to your mom and dad. Today is an open house or brand new facility. You know, your mom and dad got started literally almost 50 years ago in the hog business. They made the investments in those days, changing over from dirt lots to confined operations. But now, as you've been in the operation for 20 years, as you make this new investment, I suspect it's you and Kate deciding to continue to do that.
You know, we have, and we had talked earlier, it's Mom and Dad went from a dirt lot to a confinement years ago, and really what we have done is it's went to a confinement, but we went back to the dirt lot concept with what we've done with the open pen gestation for the sows to be able to move freely as if they were outside, but it's in a much better environment now. You know, the confinement facilities over the years have improved and gotten better, and ours had just gotten a little aged, so we decided to make an investment and improve our facilities.
Well, if you've been in the business 20 years, people can kind of guess your age. And everybody understands these facilities are a large investment. But what are the things that you think about when you make that decision to make that large of an investment?
Well, it's just really sustaining a business, you know, and if you want to have a successful business model, you have to continue to grow your business and improve your business, look at ways to be more efficient. And, you know, we were just at the point, at our existing farm that we felt this was the best way to help us proceed for the next, hopefully, 30 to 40 years in the hog business.
Well, and you have members of your family coming up. I suspect if it's a little more attractive, they're likelier to stay.
That's exactly right. You know, and the hope with this is, too, with a little more technology and whatnot, that it'll interest a lot more people, you know, hopefully my kids, but it'll interest, other local people that, you know, everybody pictures a hog farm and they think of dirt lots and pigs wallowing in the mud, but it's not the picture that, you know, is really what raising hogs is today.
Truly, it is labor management as part of that, because you have a lot of people working here, and even though you put together the plan, they have to execute it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a really good workforce. They've been with me for a long time. One of the guys coming up to work in my breeding department has been with us for over 25 years, and you know, you got to find people that want to care for the pigs, because I can't be the one doing it, and so you got to rely on people to do it.
You know, you mentioned care for the pigs, and I've talked to a lot of people here today. Truly, a lot of the investment is just about caring for each individual pig.
Yeah, it is, and that is stressed daily, because that pig that is in these pens or wherever they're at, they rely on you to care for them, to make sure the ventilation's right, to make sure their water functions correctly, to make sure they always have feed. So it's no different than having a child. You know, whether you have one child or 10,000 children, you have to care over every single animal.
And, you know, when I was in the hog business 40 years ago, truly this time of the year when it was hot and nasty, you just had a terrible time with animal comfort. In these facilities anymore, there's hardly a day they aren't comfortable.
Right. So with our gestation barns, we have basically they're swamp coolers, but when it's 100 degrees out and humid, the temperatures in there will stay around 80 degrees, and there'll be a dry environment. So it makes the comfort of the pigs, you know, it's going to be a little bit warmer, but you can maintain that and they'll be comfortable, as opposed to being outside and having to be in the sun.
And the employees as well.
Absolutely. You keep your employees happy, they'll do a lot better job for you.
We're visiting to Marc Henry, Henry Pork in southern Clay County, Kansas. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. When we come back, Dan Loy from Iowa State talks about what breeding traits have a direct impact on marbling.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
No one plans to get sick or injured. But when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Dan Loy with Iowa State reveals new research showing the effects of breeding traits and marbling.
Angus cattlemen have worked to include both the cow and the carcass in herd goals, and researchers at Iowa State University have the data to prove that's a valid path.
There's a perception out in the industry that there may be some negative relationships there. They found very few relationships between marbling and reproduction. The one thing they did find was a positive relationship between milk production and marbling, but the other reproductive traits, very, very little relationship. You can select for high quality, for marbling, the traits that consumers want currently, and still have a functional, effective cow herd.
After Iowa State researchers spent 2 decades on single trait selection for marbling, they found all other traits maintaining at the Angus breed average. A key interest led to finding a positive link between fertility traits and marbling, or intramuscular fat.
We were mostly interested in heifer pregnancy, and then calving interval, and then also the stayability or the longevity of a cow in the herd. And We did find a small correlation, about 0.2, which means it explains about 4% of the variation in the trait between marbling and heifer pregnancy.
Seed stock breeders raising these kind of sires can ease concerns too.
We looked at analysis of 2 calf crops on bulls that we had retained, and it was about 60 bulls a year, and they were on as part of research projects where we're doing BSE exams, as well as harvested the bulls and collected complete carcass data on those bulls. And so we were interested in, is there relationships between semen quality and marbling and scrotal circumference, and there was some positive relationships between scrotal circumference and marbling, but really no effect on semen quality.
With maternal and carcass traits as a unified goal, producers can achieve more consistent improvement in both. I'm Bob Cervera.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk, with the guy who always says, hope is not a business plan, Duane Taves.
Yeah, praying isn't much of one either. I tried that at the bank a while back.
Inside or outside before you went in?
No, I was praying with the banker.
With the banker?
With the banker.
Well,
no.
We got hope and a prayer here, and that's it.
That was not enough. Something about collateral.
Yeah. Well, if I had collateral, I wouldn't need a loan.
Something about collateral and ability to repay.
Yeah, I hate that part.
And it was a grand plan that I had all the way up to that point about repayment.
Yeah.
It worked real good, with his money.
Yeah.
That really wasn't his. I mean, it was the depositors of the bank.
Depositors' money.
It was the community's money.
Why is he so stingy with it? It's not even your money.
Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. Israel is the
what?
Artichoke capital of the world.
Oh.
Fact or fiction?
Well, they used to be, but California is now the artichoke. No, I was going to go with avocado. Artichoke. Yeah, I'll go with true.
Yeah, no, you were on the right track.
Was it California?
I thought I might get you with the old Jerusalem artichokes.
Well, Well, and truly, California is just amazing how nimble they are out there. When they start making money on something, I was on a rice farm about 7-8 years ago. They had 9,000 acres of rice north of Sacramento, and they were planting 900 acres of avocados a year.
Okay.
Changing that ground over from rice to avocados, 900 acres a year, and they don't get any income off of those for 4 years. Wow.
Yeah, that's a leap.
And it's a lot of money, boy.
That's a business plan of hope and prayer.
Well, no, I doubt it. I mean, those guys out there are big business, and they've been 3 or 4 or 5 generations of being that. It's just amazing to watch the tomato farms out there. They'll harvest tomatoes for like 3 months that go to a juice or a cannery
of sorts.
And so they literally back up the date of harvest to the date they plant. And they plant for 3 months then.
Right.
And it never rains in the summer. They don't want it to rain in the summer. It rains only in the winter and then only about 6 inches. But then they just harvest literally every day for 3 months, and they haul it to the cannery.
So are they more entrepreneurial minded in California? I mean, there are other places that have fertile lands.
Yes.
Now, you referenced the fact that it doesn't rain, and some would say, well, how do they grow anything? Well, they irrigate it all.
They're 9 million, I'm sorry, between 8 and 9 million contiguous irrigated acres.
Which allows them to provide water to the crop, whatever it may be, at the times it needs it, and
not when they don't.
Yeah.
So therefore, if they want to harvest next Thursday, they know it's going to be dry enough they can harvest.
Right.
On the
Where
other
you
hand,
can't do that in Kansas, for example.
Now, when you're on the fresh side, it's a little different. By the way, I'll make these numbers up, but canning tomatoes might be $1 a pound or whatever, and fresh tomatoes might be $2. Let's go back. Canned tomatoes might be 50 cents a pound,
okay,
and fresh tomatoes might be $1 a pound. But when the fresh ones have to be picked, it doesn't matter what's going on where that's supposed to be shipped if all of a sudden they have bad weather.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? It's snowstorm right here. Nobody's going to come in for 3 days.
We don't really need
need your tomatoes, your celery, your lettuce. But wait a minute, it's ready. It's time to be picked. Yeah, well, we don't really need it. So what do? They just work it under.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.